Greetings, children of the screen, your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here once again, and the day is finally upon us, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages. It is Alien Day! And I don't know if you've been following along with my Alien Week celebration, but Monday I started posting one video a day, each one dealing with a different film in the Alien quadrilogy, starting with Alien Resurrection, and going on through the week till today, when we're going to talk about Alien on Alien Day. Fitting, right? But before I get into that, I wanted to remind you guys that later tonight, as part of my further Alien Week celebration and Alien Day celebration, I'm going to be doing a live stream where I'm going to cross over with Comics Joe and Comics Boom. It's going to be hosted through Joseph's Books YouTube channel, so I'll leave you guys a link in the description for this video below, so definitely make sure and check out both those guys, and I hope to see you there at the live stream. It should be, we're trying to make it hit about 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, so you can extrapolate from there when about it would be. But anyway, yeah, we're definitely going to have that going on tonight, and I hope to see you guys there. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into Alien. Originally released in 1979, the film is rated R and comes in at a runtime of 116 minutes. It is, of course, directed by Ridley Scott and written by Dan O'Bannon and Roland Sissette. What is there to say about Alien? What is there that has not been said 1,000 times by people more eloquent and informed than I? Alien is an amazing film that transcends its genre trappings and whose influence cannot be overstated. And seeing as it can't be overstated, I suppose it wouldn't hurt for me to state a few of the reasons why I love this film so much. Couldn't do any harm, right? So here we go. The top 5 things I love about Alien. Number 5. B-movie roots. I love that this thing basically started off as a B-movie script. Dan O'Bannon had worked previously with John Carpenter on a kind of sci-fi comedy called Dark Star that got way out of hand, and he wanted to take a more serious approach to that same basic story. Years later, he and Roland Sissette, when conceiving of it, thought of Alien more as a Roger Corman-style low-budget production that at that time was going to be called Star Beast. The setup and plot are highly recycled B-movie elements, which definitely works to the film's advantage because at its core it's still giving sci-fi horror fans something that they're familiar with. And the B-movie influences continue throughout the production. In terms of tone and how the horror was portrayed, Ridley Scott was highly inspired by the film Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And there were many other B-movie elements that crept into the production, which actually in the end really helps the end product. But over time, as they got more and more people attached that were viewing this more in terms of the potential it had as a mainstream movie, things started to turn around. By maintaining the B-movie trappings, but putting a legitimate budget and crew of extremely talented artists on the film, it really elevated the B-movie formula to an art form. Number 4. Opening and introduction. Dude, I love the opening to this film. The way that we see the ship slowly spring to life, first through the reflection on the helmet visor, then we actually get to see the POV shot of the camera that moves through the ship. It both establishes the geography of the Nostromo, while at the same time giving us this moody, voyeuristic introduction into this world. As we move through the ship, it begins to come to life, all the lights coming on and eventually leading us to that stark, pristine white room housing the cryopods. It's just simply one of my absolute favorite openings to any film. It perfectly sets the tone for the film, while also drawing you into the world and making the viewer an active participant in it. Number 3. Cast and characters. I love how lived in and grounded all the characters feel. These are people in the distant future to whom flying a spaceship is no different than like driving a big rig is to one of us. They are so far removed from us, but yet they still feel like regular people. People who we have known and worked with before. The film boasts an absolutely fantastic cast with Tom Skerritt, Sigourney Weaver, Veronica Cartwright, Harry Dean Stanton, John Hurt, and Yapito Koto. I know I just butchered that name, I apologize. But the combination of the grounded, interesting characters embodied by this cast manages to get us to empathize with these characters and feel like we know them despite never getting very much information about them in an interpersonal way. The characters, combined with the actors, just created the perfect vehicles that we, the audience, needed to invest ourselves in this film. Number 2. The sounds of space. I love the sound mix on this film. The score composed by Jerry Goldsmith and conducted by Lionel Newman, it's awesome. While I don't really feel it is a score that works on its own in terms of just accessible listening for enjoyment, it works beautifully within the film. It has classical cinematic themes as well as haunting atmospheric explorations that give the film a fantastic mix of enchanting and threatening. Jerry Goldsmith, however, was slightly perturbed when hearing the final mix, as the filmmakers had dropped a couple of his original pieces, recycling them instead with cues that he had written for the film Freud a few years previously. They as well used Howard Hansen's Symphony No. 2 for the closing credits crawl. Ridley Scott and the producers made this decision feeling that Goldsmith's score was, in places, too lush and traditional, and they really wanted to go with something creepy and with a more atmospheric sound effect. The complete original score is available on the Alien Quadrilogy in an isolated soundtrack format. I highly recommend it, as all the cues dropped are really fantastic. However, I do have to say that I think the director and the producers made the right decision in the end with the sound mixing. Goldsmith's score is fantastic within the film, but it's really the blending of the score with all the other sound design elements that really make this movie as effective as it is. And even the cues that they pulled from Freud really work within the context of the film and help to sell those moments extremely well. In specific, the score pieces that they pulled from Freud were used for when the alien acid is burning through the hull deck, and I'm sorry, for one other sequence later on, I believe it's the sequence where Ripley is walking through the ship as it's like she believes she's killed off the alien and she's preparing herself to go into cryosleep. Those two little pulls that they took from Freud really work amazingly in those scenes, so I'm in the end very happy that they did it. And like I said, all in all, the sound design, the mix of the score and the sound effects and everything really just creates an experience that sucks you in. It is freaking amazing. And finally, the thing I love most about Alien is the design. In the grander sense, the set design, costume design, creature design, these are all the true building blocks of this world, and every last choice is absolutely immaculate. Dan O'Bannon brought together H.R. Giger, Chris Foss, and Ron Cobb as his dream team to create this world, and in conjunction with Ridley Scott, they gave us something the likes of which cinema has never seen before. The costuming is so interesting. Managing with the flight suits and general attire of the crew to create a look that does not feel too far removed from the world we know, but other elements like the spacesuits achieve a perfect balance between hyper-stylized design and old-used junk-esque. The sets for the Nostromo equally maintain this balance, in what is clearly a highly advanced and designed piece of machinery, but probably hasn't been state-of-the-art or top-of-the-line for over a decade. While this helps paint a beautiful picture of the world the characters live in, it also gives us colors and tones and environments that look eerily similar to the industrial work environments of current day. And then we have the space jockey ship, the xenomorph egg chamber, and the xenomorph itself. It has to be one of the most, if not the most, dynamic creature design ever committed to celluloid. It is a perfect representation of death, and H.R. Giger's design for the creature perfectly embodies that. Its color and shape allow it to seamlessly blend into the dark mechanical recesses of the ship. The designs are so horrid and yet beautiful and elegant and overwhelmingly sexual. Just in case the whole alien rape undercurrent wasn't pronounced enough for you in all these designs, it definitely drives it home. But no, seriously, guys, my original introduction to the whole Alien universe and franchise was through the action figure line. Because back in the day, half the rated R movies that were out there were marketed to children as toys. And while Giger did not have any input into these action figure designs, they still work, as do the majority of the xenomorph designs that have followed the original movie. And I think that's because the core conceptual design of the xenomorph is so strong and striking that you can extrapolate any number of designs from that and it will still be unique and interesting to look at. The design of this film from top to bottom is just top-notch. There is nothing half-assed, no detail left unattended. Simply put, it is beautiful. Right on, guys. In conclusion, as I previously stated, Alien is a great film. There's so much to love in it, but for me, these 5 elements are what really makes it stand out, even to this day. But that's just my opinion. What is your guys' favorite thing about the film Alien? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, please leave a like and share it with some friends. That's more important now than ever with everything YouTube has been changing up on us small YouTubers. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit that little bell so you can get notifications on all the dope content I'll have coming out in the future. Also, guys, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I'll be leaving the links to that down in the description below. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you all have a good one. Nerd Scum, out. And happy